Okay, so now it's recording. So once I get the link to the recording, I'll put it to the closed Facebook group, and you will have a link into it in constant access.
Yeah.
Great. So do you have, before we go to this topic of the day, and if of course you have the priority always, so what is that you would like me to talk about today, or do you have any questions at the very beginning? Today we have module 1.
I suppose it was quite interesting because just looking at module 1, there was 2 different types of trauma, wasn't it? You spoke about the developmental trauma and the complex trauma. And listening to it and thinking about it, I would say I would connect with both, which I'm sure is probably quite natural, is it, Sylvia? You know, not one over the other.
Yeah. Yes. And as you will go along with the program, there will be another type we'll talk about, and that is generational trauma. So the trauma that runs in the family, and there will be exercise as well we will cover for you to really see. Your job is not to heal the whole family. Your job is to heal yourself, and that will be enough.
Yeah. No, that was it really. I didn't get to the end, so I didn't quite understand the triangles, but I'm sure you'll go in, explain that. I wasn't really connected. My brain was probably shutting down at that point.
So what I would suggest, because you were just rushing in the door, maybe just rewatch it in your own free space, when you don't have to rush, when you don't have to feel like, oh, I have to do it. You don't have to do it, and that's not the mindset I want you to have while you're going to do it. You had to do stuff when you were a child. Now this is your choice. Colleen, this is your choice.
Well, one thing you did say when I first was coming into the class was, or somebody said it was like, you know, just cut out chunks of 20 minutes because, you know, some of it's heavy work, you know, and give yourself 20 minutes and walk away and come back for another 10 minutes or whatever. I'm lucky enough I could just leave it on my table, so I didn't have to pick it up, you know. I don't live with anybody, so no one's seeing anything, you know. So that worked for me, is doing it in chunks.
It was interesting, Sylvia, you know, after doing the 3-day masterclass, stuff came to me yesterday that I'd forgotten about, and I suppose questioning, because you talked about fear, and I suppose I know I still live in a lot of fear, you know, and it's interesting, and remembering, it was bizarre, there was stuff that, oh my God, I never thought about.
Yeah,
and
I know
very clearly up.
It's like digging deep. It was like your mind was digging deep, like, what about this? What about that? And that's one thing, you know, I know, because even though things have got better for me and my anxiety in the morning, and I feel so much better. You know, my thing was terrible mornings. I'd wake up with dread and fear. But the thing is, even when I was driving to the gym today, and God knows I can't remember what it was, but, you know, I had to say to myself, oh my God, you're digging deep there. Like, it's like, you know, you get through this sort of bout, and then here comes the next bout, you know, and even dumb stuff. But, you know, it's, and that's the sad part about it, I think, is, you know, we know the circle we want to heal, but then when we get into that circle, there's another circle and then another one. Do you know?
On that note, you're hitting something very important here, because when you consciously, we talk about this, I think, in module number 8, very well ahead. But what happens is when you start to work on yourself, so that you go deep inside you, your subconscious mind will start to reveal things to you that you might have forgotten about or have suppressed a long time ago. So things will come back. You might start to have different, like, vivid dreams, strange dreams. All of that is normal. That only shows you that your mind is cooperating with you. So your job is like when your consciousness, so self-awareness, so when you work on your self-awareness, it means you expanding your consciousness. And when you expanding consciousness, it means you will have to go to the subconscious mind to start revealing, and as I said, accessing the things that you didn't maybe have access before because you suppressed it, because it was locked away to keep you safe. But that just shows you the power of your own self. Once you will stand up, once you say, I'm ready, I want to do it, I want to heal, your mind will never go against you. It will follow your lead. Okay, she's here, she's ready, she's thinking about, you might connecting with your own feelings. That is enough for your mind to say, okay, she's opening some doors. Let's give her that bit more.
Yeah, so but the thing is, the doors aren't pleasant at all. Do you know what I mean? They're not pleasant memories. They're not, do you understand what I'm saying?
Queenie, absolutely. But your childhood trauma wasn't pleasant.
Yeah.
Trauma was not pleasant. It was loads of negative emotions around it. Yeah. So until you go back as an adult to your inner child and see and tell your inner child, oh my God, like you have experienced awful things and you survived it. So me, an adult, I will look after you now. I will connect with you. I will, empathize with you. I will protect you. At the same time, when I will free myself from that pain. Okay. And only, I did talk about on the 3-day, the truth is the key as well. For you to be honest with yourself. So when the memories are not pleasant, when the memories might be overwhelmed, that means you step back. That doesn't mean you suppress your emotions back to where they were. No, that means you create a different coping mechanism consciously. So that will be the self-care. So when you will have a sad day, you don't run away.
No.
You don't go and buy loads of things because shopping will, evoke that endorphins, hormones that will make you happy. You don't do that. When you're sad, you ask yourself, when I was sad as a child, what did I need?
Yeah.
So as a child, you needed love, you needed comfort. You didn't get it. So that means for you to reparent your inner child, what can I do today so my inner child will feel like I'm confronting her and I'm sending and I'm embracing her with love. So no shopping, because when you were 5, you didn't go jump, for the shopping to make you feel better. That's escapism. You don't need that. Feeling sad doesn't mean you're going to be depressed. It means you're allowing yourself to be truthful and honest with yourself, because that your body is telling you something that you experienced that no one's seen it before.
Yeah.
So
when you, I understand that, say, you can feel sad, and instead of like trying to distract yourself, to go into the moment and, and love yourself and your inner child. But I'm just saying, like, when you're driving to the gym or you're going to, you know what I mean? And something pops in your head, then, you are going someplace.
That's a very good point. So when you need to be an adult and then you have a memory, you're reminding yourself, okay, I'm an adult and I am committed to go to the gym. So me, the adult me, is going to the gym
Yeah.
But I promised my inner child I will look after you and I will come back to you when I
Okay.
come back from the gym.
Yeah. Because I mean, I know there was, maybe it was last week or something, and you know what? And I can't remember what it was anymore, but I just laughed like, oh my God, you're digging deep there. Do you know? I don't know if that's just good to say it that way as well, you know?
That, yes, it is, because that when you say it, you don't dismiss it and you
Yeah.
encourage, like you acknowledging the courage. Oh my God, that was deep. So there is a courageous aspect to do that.
Okay.
Because when we are afraid of our emotions because that's what we have learned through our childhood. When we had childhood trauma, none of us liked feeling things that were uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It wasn't safe. So
No.
even when you're driving to the gym and you feel, or when you might go for a walk and then something will come to you and a feeling of sadness or maybe fear of anger even
Or
will come.
embarrassment or whatever, yeah.
Rather than like, oh, that makes me uncomfortable, I need to get this out. No, oh, that was courageous for me to feel like this, or that was courageous for me to even think like this.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
interesting, Phil, because I find, I mean, I have very clear images of my childhood, but there's certain things, I don't know, it's weird. My body has, I've shut down, it's like, I'm not sure if something has happened, when it's gone so deep that you're not quite sure because there's blockages. There's lots and lots of blockages there.
Do you remember your childhood?
I do. I remember. Yeah, I remember at home, but then I would have gone. I as a young girl, I was always at other family members, their houses. And I don't really remember a lot of the things there. They were. It's strange that I don't recall because I don't know whether I've just completely shut down. Does
Yeah,
that
but
make
don't
sense?
be frightened if that starts opening up to you, right? Sylvia,
Yeah.
that could open up to you. Just be ready for it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Yeah.
Be ready for it. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, I've done a lot of work already, but I'm always doing this. And this is something I've only just touched on the surface, if that makes sense. So
there's something there,
yeah.
But
So it'll be interesting.
I'm glad you're aware of it. I'm glad you're aware of it, but don't try to control it or don't try to force it.
No, absolutely not. No.
Because there's a reason why you don't remember it.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what But I do know I have a lot of fear, and I'm very connected to my body, and I do feel sometimes I can get this shooting pain in my lower back. That's my trigger. I know it.
Yeah, good. I mean, that's good to know that. Yeah.
Yeah. And it hurts. It really hurts. When it comes, it comes pretty sharp.
And do you feel it in your body when it hurts?
Yeah, I feel it in my lower back. It comes like a kind of a shooting pain. It's really, really strong. It's interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting. But I suppose I do EFT, so I've done a lot of tapping and whatnot. Like, I suppose it's interesting. As a child, I would have had a lot of physical abuse, verbal abuse, mental abuse from my father, and always beaten at the kitchen table, when I spoke, or if I didn't hold my knife or fork properly, or and
anything.
I got two brothers. Yeah, I had two brothers. They were never told off. So it was the fear of speaking out, that if I said something wrong, I would have got in trouble, I only discovered that maybe in the last few years, and I'm still conscious of that. There's still remnants of it there,
Plus, we go to a table 3 times a day to eat. in your
Yeah.
face, really. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough.
But look, you know what? I feel it just again to remind myself that was then, this is now, but still to bring some peace and healing to it, you know.
And how are you with your own sexuality? I don't mean in a
my own sexuality, as in, how do you mean now, Sylvia? As
yes.
in,
So I mean about you being a woman. How are you seeing yourself when it comes to men, and how do you perceive yourself as a woman?
okay, yeah, it's interesting. I've had horrific, I wouldn't have had great experience in my I could write a book on relationships now at this stage. Yeah, not good, no. And I'm in a very difficult situation at the moment, Sylvia, and it's very interesting. I would have been with a lovely older man actually for maybe 10 years. I suppose for the last 7, it's been good. It was good. With COVID happening, it was a disaster. And then I discovered there was alcoholism. And now this man, he's got dementia. And I'm feeling huge guilt around this man, you know, that I feel because he's been so kind to me and showed me lovely love that I never experienced in my life, that I am responsible.
Yeah.
Now I have started putting boundaries into place, which is big for me because I was never told what boundaries were, you know, there was never any boundary. It wasn't explained to me. So I'm definitely a lot better than where I was a year ago. Yeah. You know, I don't go over there. I was going over there every day. And now I'm having to protect myself because it's not serving anymore. But I can't walk away. I can't make that.
Who is he remind you of in your own life?
It's interesting. Probably my grandfather, actually, probably, if I think about it, you know, because my grandfather was a lovely man. He was a very loving man, very kind, which is quite interesting. You know, and I'd never thought about that before, actually. It's interesting that you say that, you know. But yeah, I had relationships, you know, I was aware of the cycle, the pattern, what I was going into.
Yeah, it's sad, you know, when you know you're doing it and you're doing it, you know.
Well, it's looking for the approval, isn't it? You know, it's to be loved.
Yeah, to be loved, yeah.
Yeah, really.
You know, to feel good enough.
Yeah. Interesting one. Yeah.
And say in that case with Sandy, if you don't mind, I'll use you because I'm not in a relationship. So, is it? And Sandy doesn't feel good about that. Why? Because when we were younger, or Sandy was younger, nobody respected our boundaries, right? You know, somebody else would be like, you know, I'm going to go and visit him 3 times a week and I'm going to take him out for coffee too. And I feel good about setting the, you know what I mean? It'd be so normal for other people to do that and feel okay about it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say, Sylvia? Why do we feel guilty and feel like we should be doing more?
That is because when you were a child, you never felt loved or good enough from the parents. So in both of you, it's like the father figure that for a little girl, the father figure should be the first hero.
Yeah.
Did you feel like the princess?
No. I felt like the wicked witch from the West, to be honest.
There you go. So looking at your relationships, you looked for love that you didn't get from your father. And having said that, you were repeating the patterns because that's all what you knew. You didn't break the pattern within you that you didn't believe that you could deserve more.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So that is like the hamster wheel. You know, it will go on until we just get out of it. It's like enough. So with the mindset, I am deserving love. I am, you know, I do deserve love. That changed the whole perception of men in a relationship. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Sandy, with me.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And Colleen, I know you said you wanted me to cover jealousy.
Yeah, jealousy. Yeah. I mean,
Are you
age, you know, just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what the
When you
hell?
say jealousy, Colleen, when you say jealousy, what do
Yeah.
you mean by like
Well-
jealousy with friends, family, or?
Well, I don't know. So not with family, because I don't have much family anyway. But I have family, but we're a small family. Do you know what I mean? But it's just that feeling of I should have done better. Do you know, when I see other people who are driving Mercs and, and I'm not superficial, honestly, Sandy, do you know? But when I see that, like, then I don't know if I've got that pity me party, like, oh, I had a terrible childhood and an upbringing and I've been on my own since, it's been rough or whatever, but it rears its head, every once in a while. And I know it's not a healthy thing, I mean, and I've talked to my other friends about it, and they're not like, you've got your health, look at your lovely house, blah, 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 I know it's not good.
But what you have, for some reason, for you is not enough.
Yeah. And it's, I'm in my 60s now, it's too late, I'm not going to go back and unknit it all to try and reknit it again. You
could have at least another 20 years ahead of you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's a long time.
Not when it's your last 20, Sylvia. I tell you. You count down the years. Yeah. I don't know. It's something that happened last weekend and it just came to the forefront for me. And I'd love to be through it, I'd love to be.
Maybe you look, okay, there's few things going on. Like when you talked and, when I got your message, there was few things going on. And even now when you say this, number one, the inner critic was huge. Yeah. Oh, I'm playing the pity party here.
Yeah.
That's a criticism. That's a judgment.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I'm looking at other people and they drive different car than I do. They have something better.
Yeah.
Immediately you judging what you have, you judging what they have, and because you're comparing, you're actually deepening the deep wound. I'm not good enough. What I have is not good enough. My age is not good enough. Anything is not good enough.
Well, and it's been one of those ugly little things about me for years. So I've been digging that wound down, for a while. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's judgment, deep wounds. Yeah.
But you're judging yourself, Colleen, and you're feeding your own wound. I'm not good enough when you compare.
Yeah.
Every life is different.
Mm-hmm.
We all have different journey in here. Your soul has a purpose that is only for your own soul. We all have different paths. The symptoms, the causes, they might be similar, but they are never the same.
Yeah.
And Colin, look at, what I would like you to really acknowledge. You keep telling yourself that your age is something that, you don't maybe like, or you keep comparing yourself to others as I'm, as you say, oh, this is my last 20 years. But
yeah, and then honest to God, I don't want to sound like I'm superficial. I'm not, it's just
there's another judgment. There is another judgment. We're afraid that we will judge you when you say that.
no, and
I'm
it's
not
good,
superficial.
and it's good to hear it back that, I've mentioned more than one time my age, and I know I retired this year, and I know it's about creating a new life for myself. I do understand that part of it, but I just always feel like, well, I'll never work again, so I won't amass anything. I only will spend what I've amassed now. And
with the retirement, there is a grief aspect of it as well.
okay.
But how you look at this time of your life is completely up to you.
Yeah.
Because look at if I will be doing what you're doing and you're comparing yourself to other people, I myself will do it, okay? But I will show you my own angle, how I see it. So I have a lady who is in her 60s, who is not afraid of her emotions, who saw more life than I ever did so far. And you come up, you do what you feel like you want to do because there is still so much life in you. During the masterclass, you and Sandy, and there was another just few people who had the courage to put the camera up. People, they were probably younger. So what if they didn't have the courage to show up the way you have? Look at yourself today. The finances to be here, that wasn't an issue for you. But maybe for some of them they were. Or maybe that stopped them. Maybe they had the fear in them to be here with us. You didn't have that fear. You're not afraid of taking steps forward.
Yeah.
Regardless of your age, you could be saying, oh, I'm 60, wherever. So what's the point of me signing up to this program if I die soon anyway?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You didn't. That's not who you are. You are going because you still see that this is not the end of your journey yet. You experience what you have, but your soul is calling to do more healing because that's for who you are. So that itself is a huge wisdom that you need to connect with. Colleen, trust yourself. You have the wisdom. You don't need to compare yourself to other people's.
Well, and also, like you said, I mean, I will, and this is not taking anything away from me. I know it's because I am a little older that I'm able to put myself on the camera, because I know when I was that was me, and I wished I'd have done this work. I guess this is what I'm like. I wished I'd have done this work. It was around when I was 25. You know what I mean? So we wouldn't have carried all of this stuff with us through all our lives. But I don't think I don't think I'd have been brave enough then to put my face on camera. And I will tell you, Sylvia, because I would have been embarrassed that shit happened to me,
And look where you are today.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, it's like I say, and that is something to do with age too, is that, a lot of people wouldn't even mention stuff like that, because they wouldn't want anybody to know they had those sort of feelings. So,
Colin, but you're doing it, and that's what matters. You're not giving up.
no,
And when you say, oh, I want a bigger car, let's just say that, or I want more money.
Oh,
that doesn't mean no, stay with this. Look how credit you got.
All right.
Look, just because you want more doesn't make you be superficial.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Look at life itself. If you put a seed in the ground and just leave it and forget about that seed, eventually you will see the plant going, you will, from that seed, you will have a plant without even feeding it, because in that seed there is life, and the purpose of life is always to grow. Always. So even for you to have this amount money and or this type of car, and sometimes we will have this wish, or I wish I would have a better car, newer or bigger. That is a very natural way of being and thinking, because that means you expanding and growing. So those thoughts means you're going according to the law of life.
Okay. All right. I can accept that then.
If you buy a plant, small plant, and you water it, the plant will grow. Why? How does that even happen?
Mm-hmm.
Why water a plant what doesn't have really the brain the way we do, but it has life in it? And it knows what to do. It knows to grow. But when it comes to human beings, and when we want to grow and feel better and be bigger and have better things, we shy away.
Okay. All right. I see what you're saying. I get you. Yeah.
That goes against the law of life.
That, very good. All right. I get it. I get about the seed and the plant and the law of life, that instead of shying away or feeling bad about these feelings, or, trying to work them out, see them as it's still a life force that's growing. You may not have a little control over it, but it's there. Okay, I can go with that, Sylvia. That feels better.
So with the comparison and jealousy, I will use another metaphor. If you will have a tulip, I love them, by the way, they're so lovely, but they're so simple. And if you would have a rose, tell me what flower is better? Which flower is more worthy?
Yeah. No, I get you.
Go ahead.
I would want to say field flowers are not worthy, to a rose of, you know what I mean? Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in that situation. Yeah, because I would want all of those around me. Yeah.
Both of those flowers are beautiful in their own very unique ways. Rose is very complicated in its flower. Tulip is very simple. But tulip has something about, if I would look at a tulip, it's simple, but it's very classy. But in a very simplified way. I don't know how to even, it's just beautiful the way it is. Rose, it's more complicated, but but not every person will like tulips, and not every person will like roses.
Yeah.
And that's okay as well. But can you really compare tulip to the rose?
No.
So how come when it comes to such a complex creatures as human beings, how come we try to compare ourselves to each other?
Yeah.
If even flowers can't be really compared to each other. We can't compare flowers. But even, how come we compare human to human?
Yeah.
Different soil, different, a tulip will need a different type of caring than a rose, and other flowers as well. They need different types of you know, maybe sunflowers will need more water. Sunflowers will not need water at all, like cactus, let's say. They need very little water and they're beautiful in themselves. But does that mean, based on how much water they take, does that mean one of them is better than the other?
No, and I totally get that, Sylvia. I totally get that. But what you've said to me is that, you know, jealousy is, you know, it's feeding your wound when you compare, but it's also okay through those jealousies to know that it doesn't make you superficial to want more. Do you know, that was what it was for me. It doesn't make me superficial to want more, or to be, you know, envious of somebody's success, as long as I don't put myself down about it. I like that bit, that it doesn't make me superficial, which I'm glad to hear.
It doesn't. It's very natural way to be if we want more. If you would tell me I'm content with what I have and I don't need anything more, then I'll be more concerned. Then when you tell me I want more, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay, well, I'll work with what we're talking about. You know, it's a work in progress. And like you say, I can see this little jealous eye. I've had it for a long time, you know, and maybe it came from being wanted to be loved and being wanted to know that I'm good enough. So I came from lack anyway. In every area of my life was lack, you know, so.
And this could be, as much as it's your wounded inner child of I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
When maybe there are aspects of the adult you when will be jealous of other people or what they have. So that's when you need to check if that's my childhood. Is this my wound of I'm not good enough, and this is just I'm comparing subconsciously, and you know that just feeding my wound, or is it my adult self? And then if it's your adult self, it means it could be your shadow.
Yeah, and you know, just to, I'll give you one instances. You know, I have two friends. My sister is one of them, and another friend. They have beautiful relationships. You know, they're so happily married. And there's a lady at the gym who I absolutely love. She's been married for years, and the thing is, she wears all these diamonds on her finger, and I always say to her, oh, that's mine when you go, you know, and she laughs at it. And I guess it's not about the diamonds, it's that she was in such a great relationship that these are the gifts that she got, you know. Do you get what I'm trying to say there? I mean, I know I said about a Merc, but you know, when and there was the outward recognition of something inside of her, or something like that. I'm just not sure how to say it that way, you know, because I love the lady and I'm happy she's in a relationship, you know.
Is there a resentment towards your friends?
No, there is no resentment towards it. One friend, yes, is. But everybody looks at her because she's just so boastful. You know, she can get the conversation back to her. She'll bring it back to her, you know, like my child or my house, or, you know, and then and I told you it was 2 weeks ago, and we were all there, and she's like, oh, I would never drive my Merc down here, you know, her Mercedes Benz, you know, like on the country roads of Ireland. And I guess and that gets me going as well. You know, that it does push a button somewhere in some way. You know, I say it's jealousy.
But it could be also her ego wants you to be jealous. So it's her ego it's hers as well.
Yeah.
So for you to embrace that, you could even say to yourself, yes, sometimes I feel jealousy of that friend or of that person. And that's okay. I don't wish to take things away from her. It's just about acknowledging your own emotions and be okay with it.
Okay.
Like, okay, that just because you feel jealous, that doesn't make you to be a bad person.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
only
No.
means if your body is telling you something. So it means the jealousy part maybe is showing you what you would want for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess that's what it is. It's showing me what I would want for myself, you know, like when I see that, like, yeah, I'd love to have been in a wonderful relationship with somebody that, and, you know, I got the diamonds for our 20th anniversary and I got this, you know, it could have been a pearl necklace or it could have been a holiday to Fiji. It's that sort of like, you know.
Mm-hmm. I get you.
Yeah.
But let's be honest here. If you're talking about self-love,
Mhm.
yes, I hear that you want to be loved, you would love to be in a relationship, and you would want to have the diamond's ring. What's stopping you from getting a lovely ring for yourself?
Oh, nothing. And I have a diamond, you know, and I have some emeralds. I'm just, it's not, it's what it represented rather than, you know, it's more from the inside out than diamonds in, you know. And she, you know, and I probably could talk to that lady and she'd probably say, you know, she could say, oh, well, he cheated on me for 7 years. I don't know. It's what I'm thinking, you know, it's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Okay.
You know,
Just observe if this is something that you really want,
yeah.
regardless of who gave it to you,
Yeah.
always remember you can give those things to yourself as well.
Yeah, and then maybe, I'm sorry, Sandy, if I'm hogging this.
Oh, not you're fine, not at all. It's no
So
problem.
maybe then, is it about, I don't feel worthy? Do you know what I mean? Or is it that when you come from poor means and, you know, we were laughing, I was laughing with the lady the other day, and we're like, yeah, we all know what it's like to be hungry as a child. Kids today don't, you know, sort of thing. You know, because, yeah, I could go out and buy myself a terrific car, but I wouldn't want to release that amount of money. Do you know what I'm saying, Sylvia? So, you know, in one way I can do it. You've shown, you know what I mean? So maybe the next part is, and I'm not a cheap person either, but maybe I'm cheap. You know?
Don't go to the judgment. You're not cheap. None of
I told myself yesterday, like something about putting the blind up in my bedroom, and you know, I was getting ready to give myself, I don't know, like, you know, using the F word on myself, but I caught myself and I'm like, why did you even say that to yourself, even if you say it jokingly?
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done for catching that. Well done.
Yeah.
But do you see how this conversation came around?
Mm.
Not good enough.
Yes.
Maybe the child.
I don't
the shadow. The adult and right into the inner child. But I'm not worthy enough.
Yeah. I don't.
How they spend. So there is the inner child wound. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy enough. And I need someone to validate me.
Yeah.
Because when I would validate myself, that wouldn't be enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why you're not buying yourself the car that you want. That's why you're not buying yourself the ring that you want. Because it would be from you, and that's not good enough for you. So do you see how much you're actually rejecting yourself?
Yeah. Well, wait a minute, from yourself is not good enough. Yeah. Yeah. But I just got that, you know. You know what I mean? I'm tying it into the jealousy feelings in that way. I mean, I could say all these words and say it in a different way at a different time, but it's just come together, you know. But also that breakthrough about being this way doesn't make me superficial.
Or feeling jealous doesn't make you be a bad person either.
Yeah, or a bad person. And like you say, so yeah, like I just lost my train of thought there, sorry. But it went back to more of, yeah, like you say, what did you say at the end? You said something, oh, sorry, Sylvia, I've
The
completely
law
lost.
of life, is that?
No, you're just saying something about maybe you're saying, oh,
The shadow, not good enough.
Alzheimer's. My Alzheimer's are kicking in. But where you would just say, you know, it gets back to not being good enough. I just don't feel good enough for it. But because I would have felt, oh, I am good enough for it. But really, very good. I mean, a nice little epiphany there. You know, I can feel it in my stomach, you know. Yeah, thank you for that.
You're very welcome. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry for interrupting your
Oh,
trade
no,
of-
I mean, it's terrible. So, yeah, no, I think it was coming back to that I'm being hard. That's it. You know, I guess, I don't know if you're like this, Sandy, but I guess I'm learning, you know, I didn't have the skills to not be hard on myself because that was something that was normal to me. And I'm thinking everybody else is like this, but they're not.
And actually, it's interesting. I find I'm always apologizing. I'm always saying I'm sorry.
Yeah, me too.
I'm constantly reaffirming I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's an Irish thing to do because you can be standing
it's ridiculous.
somewhere.
Yeah. But I mean, why?
You can be
Don't justify it. Don't say this is just an Irish thing. Don't justify it.
yeah, don't justify it, but I
Yeah.
know what you're saying.
Yeah.
So ask yourself, Sandy, why do you feel you need to apologizing? What are you trying
It
to
must. Is it?
achieve?
I'm thinking. Is it again self-approval? You know, again coming back to being accepted.
Or it could be something else from what you already shared, and you know, it's being afraid of being punished or criticized. So you say sorry immediately before it will escalate to something bigger. So you prepare to sorry, I just try to minimize. Oh, like no, it's like you constantly watching what you say, what you do, how you even think or feel, and you apologize for all of this because you just try to keep everything maintained under, you know, in a very safe for you, for your inner child to feel safe.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, you're right.
So,
and I'm very aware that I'm saying that, like,
yeah.
So, what it would be like if, let's say, you will have a conversation with someone and you immediately you will apologize, and then once you will catch yourself, oh, I just apologize, and that's you know then this is your inner child. So then be the adult, the loving parent to your inner child, and if I say it out loud, sorry, I didn't actually mean to apologize for that. I don't know why I say it. Why I apologize? I don't know why. Or I didn't have a reason to apologize. If it's too much to say it out loud to the person, you say it to your own head.
Yeah.
You can hear yourself.
Yeah. Say it in your own head when you catch yourself doing it.
Yeah, definitely. That's one I need to.
Yeah,
definitely.
That'll work for me. Like when all of a sudden a memory comes out of the blue, saying, like I say, I was driving the other day. Not that I can remember it now, but you know, to like you say, just parent yourself for 30 seconds. Just then, just be an adult. Yeah, I like that, Sylvia.
And then it's really interesting, Sylvia, because I'm now in a new job, right? And I work with children with autism. And I've worked in a special school for 8 years with older kids, and I had great support from OTs and behavior therapists and speech and language therapists. And now I've gone into a mainstream school, a primary school with a unit. I've just set up a unit and I've got no support. And all of a sudden, I'm having to use my voice.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah.
And it's quite challenging. I'm not good. I find I've had to really stop myself. The principal actually, before Christmas, because I was trying, you know, I'm the children's advocate. I'm their voice because some of them are nonverbal and they need the support and I don't have the support. And literally, she said to me one day, it was like, stop at me, you know, stop giving out to me.
Yeah.
And it really kind of brought me into that space of, you know, again, here I was trying to speak my truth and yet feeling that there was something wrong with me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. I get it. And this is the person you go to for this, you know,
Yeah.
but she's turned that around on you. Stop at me. I mean, that's her stuff, but just the way she said it, you know, there's something going on with her too, Sandy.
It's very difficult. And I suppose
Right.
it's just a new year, it's a new beginning. And I very much gone back in a very different headspace. And I thought, okay, look, this is where it is. This is, you know, I must accept where I am. And I just thought, just enjoy the experience. I find I'm very conscious. I'm not saying anything, to be honest. You know, I just think less is more.
Fair. Yeah.
That's how I'm feeling. My gut is telling me I don't need to.
Okay, but okay, I feel like
It's a hard one.
I was like, oh my God, I'm not here.
I know, I get it too, Sylvia, because when we
You-
were younger, people were at us. You know, your
Yeah.
dad were at you all the time. My brothers were at me all the time. Do you know, people were at us because we couldn't defend ourselves. I got that the minute, you know, that went right back. People were at us when we were, and then for her to say, stop being at me.
Yes, but that's not, let's leave that principle alone. This is not our business to figure out why, what's on her head, why she said it.
No, but Sylvia, I'm just saying, it brought, for me, that would bring me back to my childhood, that phrase. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, it does.
Powerless.
Yeah. And how to manage it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I get it, Sandy. Sorry, go ahead, Sylvia.
Thank you. So, Sandy, so when she said these things to you, and she will say it many times, because if you have a voice and you go to the principal that has her own wounds, she won't be able to hear you. So boundaries, you know, even when you say, oh, I know this is, you know, me comfortable not to say things, but there will be a time where you will need to say things for those kids. Regardless, to please, you don't want to keep pleasing her, because then the kids that you're actually working with, they won't be heard because you won't be heard by her. It will have, it could, I'm not fully understand, but it could have a knockout effect. So for you not to feel like this, that you can't speak or that you shouldn't speak, what you could say.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Sorry, now just something's after coming in, but we had parent-teacher meetings and she sits in my meeting, my first meeting with parents and the kids. And afterwards, she told me that because I was saying, obviously, I was honest with the parents saying, look, we don't have the supports and we need the supports. She said that I was stirring it with the parents, that I was, you know, stirring the pot, that I was trying to rile them up.
Yeah.
So again, you know, when I've been challenged. I'm not going to lie, I've been very challenged. And I've never been in a situation like this in a work environment ever in my life. And again, it's bringing me back into that very vulnerable space. Because
I
I
get
got,
it.
you know, obviously being criticized, being questioned, you know, that,
So the adult you needs to come back to the place. So the inner child in you is being triggered. Before we go to the inner child, I need the adult in you, the expert in that field, the person who well knows what she does, the person who is well qualified to do it. I need her to speak. Can the adult you have a voice in this?
Yeah.
So what? Okay, so I want right now the adult you, the expert in this field, to tell me what would you say back to this principal? Because obviously she has no idea about
she doesn't.
your job,
No.
but she acts like she does.
Yes.
So the adult you, tell me, what does that principal need to hear?
She needs to hear the truth. She
And
needs
that
to hear
is what?
Yeah, she needs to hear what these children need and follow through with it, basically. You know, it's a duty, because at the end of the day, these children need, you know, an education like everybody else and support. And in order for me to be able to do it, I need her to listen and to take on board everything that I'm asking.
Yeah,
from
to do her, but sadly,
from a loving place, you know.
To do her duty. You've just said it. She needs to do her duty.
Yeah.
But very important. You need to let her know that you're an adult, a lady who knows a lot, and someone who has more knowledge and experience in the field. So if she wants you to help the school, she needs to help you.
Yeah.
So what she might actually need to hear is that I don't go against you, don't take it personally. I'm here for those kids the same way you are. We need to collaborate, an adult. We need to work together to make this work. You alone won't make it work. I alone will not make it work. We need to co-work together. When you meet the adult, when you come out with the adult self, she will then stay in the adult mode.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why we don't need people to change. We need to change. But she, with her comments, she was getting triggered by what you were saying. So she didn't hear you from an adult perspective. And because then she didn't hear, she was the inner child, that triggered your inner child. And then we had two small girls in the room trying to fight who is right. That is you have your own power, your inner child, even for you to acknowledge, okay, she's triggering me, I feel like I can speak, so maybe this is my own stuff, maybe something is mirroring me to exactly where I need to work, and what is my biggest wound in here. But that's at home, that's my private, and I will look at my inner child wound at home when it's safe. My inner child will never be safe with this woman.
No.
So the adult you needs to meet this principal and speak to her as a woman, an adult, because that will then allow her to stay in the adult herself.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's really minding my inner child. It's really, and knowing where and when, that's very important, really, isn't it?
Well, just to know that it's there. And I mean, I've finished work now. Sandy. I wished I'd have known that all those years ago when I was coming in and negotiating from my inner child.
Yeah.
Rather from my adult self. I mean, very profound. I mean, and it's so true.
Yeah.
You know? So damn true.
Because we're quite raw when we've had trauma.
Yeah.
We're very exposed. We're, you know.
No, you know, like the child is the one who's doing the talk. We can still say the words and be the adult, but it's the wound that's talking. And like Sylvia, very good. The adult needs to be there. The wounds are still there.
It's remembering, and I love it. It's so simple, but yes, you know, we don't think this, do we? Because we're very much.
You've got it. Next time you see her, you'll know it. She'll trigger. You know what? She'll be a point.
I'll be walking tall and straight from now on in there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Not at all. We need to remember we are not our trauma.
Yeah.
These are our wounds speaking, but we are not their wounds.
Yeah.
Our responsibility is to look after inner child, to help her understand and feel loved and feel safe.
Yeah.
None of yours responsibility is to look after other people's.
Yeah.
Inner child, understand them, what's going on. You don't need to know.
Yeah.
What you need to do is listen to your own self with kindness.
Yeah.
And that takes work, Sylvia, you know, because when you've not done that, it's feeling it. Because I realize actually, I don't think I have really felt I got you know, while I can meditate and I go into that space, it's really connecting with my body, with who I am, if that makes, you know, sense.
It does.
Yeah.
I'll be back, guys. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Well, so it's about what you need, you know, and when you get triggered, that doesn't mean you can't do this. When you get triggered, it means you need to look after your own needs. Don't hide away. Come back. Come back and tell, okay, an adult me needs to have this conversation.
Yeah.
The inner child in me, she doesn't have to have this conversation because that's not her job to have this conversation. She doesn't know how to have this conversation. The adult you, she knows. You start looking at yourself as the expertise in this area.
And that's, again, it's really interesting, going back to the little girl, not good enough.
Yeah.
Again, questioning.
You know, when I started to be psychotherapist, you know, after years of, you know, learning and doing the job on myself, and then there was the moment when I had to see clients. Do you know what I did? I had books and books with me.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, if I will be stuck, I just can look for the theory to let the person know what's But that was in me. The feeling, how can I help someone when I don't know? You know, but you build that. The more you do it, the more uncomfortable you will be doing. You know, you will be feeling and doing this. You will become at ease with this theory. It will become easier and quicker. You will catch yourself. Does that mean you won't get triggered? Oh, you will get triggered. Do I get triggered? Yes, we all do. We need, regardless of where will you be in your life, you still have a life to experience. And there always will be things to look inside us. You might do healing for many years of different type of healings. Does that mean you're done? You can never be fully done. Why? Because only things that are not alive are done. As long as you are alive, it means you have consciousness, and it means you still have your unconsciousness, and unconsciousness is infinite. It never ends. So as long as you are alive, there are things that you will not know and things that you can still find out. Again, it's about growth. It's the same law. If you will be like, okay, that's it, I done my healing, I don't need to know anything else, I know everything about myself, you're blocking the law of life. Because there can't be, you know, a finish line to your growth. It can't be a finish line to your own potential, to how much you can learn about yourself. It can't be, you can't see the end.
Yeah.
As long as your heart beats, there is things to find out. And that's okay.
I feel very privileged now, Colleen, that we're here and that we're, you
The
know,
only two, I know.
this beautiful journey. It's actually very empowering, really.
Yeah.
That's my intention for
yeah no, and it's lovely, and it is connecting, really, and feeling the fear, and it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, we're old enough to know that as well, but I swear to you, I am sick of buying self-help books, always thinking the answer was in the page, or I just wasn't doing it right, or do you know what I mean? Just always, you know, and they always, you know, and I know they're the old cliches, the answers are within, the God is within, but bloody hell, it's true, do you know? But why don't we believe it? You know, we're all, look, why are we always looking outside ourselves?
Absolutely. And there's a new trend now. Stay positive all the time. Positive vibes only. Oh, Christ. Like, how can you? It's like...
It's showtime. Yeah.
You can never be complete only with light, or the bigger the light, even if you look again at the nature, if there is a sun, there will be a shadow. The higher the sun, the bigger the shadows. It's the same.
Yes, same.
It's the same with the tree. The bigger the tree, it needs to have nice big roots, because that's what we need to stand. And to, you know, to hold that big tree, we need strength, and the strength comes from the roots. So we can't never be fully always positive 24/7. It's not how are you meant to experience sadness, the depth, the deepness of life, if it's not for the sadness or for this uncomfortable emotions. How are you meant to know who you are if you don't know that you can feel uncomfortable and hold that uncomfortableness in your body and still do those things? That's the strength. Well done, both of you. I'm so privileged again. I feel so happy.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so Sylvia, say for next week, we're going to try to be up to, say, module 4, if we can get as far as that. Are you saying 2 modules a week, if we can do that?
Even if you will do up to module 3, that's enough.
Yeah, okay.
Because modules, okay, wait a second. Some of them are shorter, some of them are longer. But again, if you feel you had and you done enough for the week, trust yourself. Be your own guide in this. This is how you develop self-trust.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I enjoyed that. Well, I don't know. I was happy to, let's put it that way. you know, and hearing from different, like when you were talking, Sandy, and you know, it's easy to get when it's easier to get when it's somebody else, you know, when you're not in their story. But that whole idea of you've got to bring the adult to the table, don't let the inner child be sitting there feeling hurt, you know, and we're qualified to do it, you know, we're qualified to be the adult to that child. I love that.
Yeah, you know, when I was waiting for the 8 o'clock to, you know, to hit for me to go, like, I actually saw my crayons, you know, I was like, oh, I'm coming.
Yeah, start coloring.
I was like, oh, the colors, you know, but so
Yeah.
you can feel and connect with your inner child all of the time.
Yeah.
But when the 8 o'clock hit, I had to come back to my adult. Because you're not here to meet my inner child. You're here to meet the adult me that I can support you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can keep juggling in and out, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Well done, both of you. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
I'll see you. See you next Monday.
See you next week. Yes, see you next Monday, 8 o'clock. And the same link. It will be the same.
Great. No, look forward to it. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so much.
Have a lovely week.
Thank you.
Yes, bye, 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 ladies. Bye, bye.
Bye, guys.